Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Theorist
And the Savant,
with your host, JC Botero67.
and Alex Sinclair.
And today we're taking a look at Chapter 3 of The Ninth Life here on our Neko Notes segment. And we'll jump right into the beginning with Ciel has arrived to Sebastian's place and he's unpacking. And in one of the boxes, he finds his bitter rabbit doll. And precisely around that time, Sebastian, he strolls in and he's just all like, oh, you have several of those. And Ciel has like this special bond with the bitter rabbit doll because when he got it as a kid, his mom had said, oh, just because it might not be as pretty looking as all the other dolls, or, it has like the eye patch and looks different, like doesn't mean that it's not as special. So it's like a fond memory that Ciel carries with him.
It was very sweet and very adorable, and I'm really glad that Anime Cujo put that in.
Yeah, it's like a very key part of Kuro. So moving along, I guess. Sebastian eventually asks Ciel, well, you hungry? And he's just all like being, I don't know, he's not being suave at this moment. He's being kind of a prick. And he's just all like, I have tuna in a can. And then Ciel's response is, I don't like canned tuna. It may come as a surprise to you, but just because Nekos have feline traits doesn't mean we go insane over shiny, jingly trinkets, or come running when we hear can opener.
I really hope that quote comes into play later.
Right? I think it'd be so adorable. I was thinking the same thing when I was skimming the notes, so maybe it'll come to play as like something, kinky. I don't know. I think that'd be interesting. So we'll see what happens with that. So anyway, eventually they have dinner, and Sebastian had made chicken sandwiches. And he eventually, comes into a deal with Ciel. So he would reveal to Ciel the secret ingredient he used in the sandwiches, and Ciel had to, in turn, provide information on what foods he liked. So that way Sebastian could be in the know. And, Ciel's adorable because he's like listing off like chicken and beef and sushi. And then, of course, typical Ciel mentions desserts, sweets, and stuff. And he also brought up the fact that he likes tuna. And so then Sebastian's just all like, wait a second, tuna?
I thought you hated tuna.
I know, right?
And then
And
Ciel's like, canned. I hate canned tuna.
the fresh one is fine. And then I have a quote written down here. I don't really want to go into too much detail with it, but basically, they're kind of eyeing each other, like, they're locking eyes and they're kind of staring at each other for a bit too long. And I just have to point out that I love how Anime Cujo has created this tension between them. It's unlike any of her other stories, because in Revelations, Ciel and Sebastian, like, they do fall for each other kind of right off the bat. Like, it's not like they have tensions, really. ASASS, there is a bit of tension, but I feel there's tons more with this one. So then
The tension just kind of makes it like sexier because
it
it's like
does.
they don't think that they should be together because they're both like quote straight unquote, but
Mm-hmm.
like there's like that lust for each other, and it's just
That
it's so hot.
curiosity, yeah. And so, I mean, we all know, obviously, this is a Sebastiel fanfic. So, despite them hating each other's guts right now, it'll eventually evolve into, a kind of a friendship, and then eventually evolve into a relationship. So,
All
uh,
those sexy, lusty feelings that Anime Cujo has come to make us know and love.
right? I know, I know. I'm excited for that moment. All right. So, later on during dinner, Sebastian has these rules that he's setting for Ciel now that he's living with him. And so I'll go ahead and lift. I'll go ahead and list those off. So number 1, you can eat whenever and whatever you want, but make sure to clean up after yourself. I'm not your maid. That goes the same for the rest of the house. Number 2, no bringing any newly made buddies or girlfriends over. I don't want a bunch of strangers running around in here. And lastly, don't touch my work stuff, which I have to pause for a second on that quote, because the moment that Sebastian said that, I was just like, yep, it's going to happen. Ciel's going to touch his work stuff. So
Either
anyway,
Ciel or Eloise or somebody's going to touch it, and Ciel's probably going to get blamed for it.
right, because I feel like, there's going to be someone over, duh, and of course it's going to be Alois, who is Ciel's best friend. So I feel like, Alois is going to be over, and this continues with the quote here, because Sebastian mentioned, like, oh, don't touch anything aside from the TV remote. Which I'm like, oh, okay, when Alois is over, he's going to want to watch TV or something. He's going to grab the remote. That, in turn, is going to knock something over that either breaks or something falls out of it, and it's just going to be some secret that Sebastian has. And I mean, I have a few theories on it, I guess. Sebastian may have worked with like the Neko hunters before, and now he's kind of turning a different path.
That would be very classic anime Cujo.
Going from bad to good kind of thing. Or, I mean, I don't know what other secret. I mean, I kind of joked around before that, like, oh, like, what if he had an ex-boyfriend? And, you know, maybe it's like a picture of like some guy. And...
It'd be funny if it was him and Claude.
Oh, that would be funny.
I feel like that's a very common thing, is Sebastian and Claude happened once, and then they, like, regretted it forever. And
oh, yeah, like in SMTV.
Yes.
But yeah, I know you had also mentioned, like, that could lead to a argument between Ciel and Sebastian. And of course, I mean, that's what makes the story so great, is the drama and the challenges and arguments and stuff. Obstacles that, you know, want to keep us hooked to the story, because, you know, not everything is rainbows and butterflies, you know?
Exactly.
So
they have to fight over trivial little shit, otherwise they wouldn't really be in a relationship.
Right. But I'm hoping, like, this thing is, like, some big thing.
I agree. I hope it's, like, major plot device, just like he didn't knock over a glass and break a glass or something, and then Sebastian is just like, I told you not to touch anything.
I love that voice.
Thank you.
That was fabulous. All right. And then... Oh, yeah, the junk thing. Hold on. All right, so I'll go ahead and start now. Yeah. If I make a mess, clean it up. No random people in the house, and keep my hands off your junk. Oh, God, no. I mean,
Good to see we're on the same page. Tell me something. Where do you keep it?
And then, of course, my mind went to the gutter at that moment, because, you know, when Ciel said junk, obviously, he was like, oh, no, like, I'm talking about his dick, and, like... And so when Sebastian asked, where do you keep it? I was like, what? Why are we asking this? And then...
Where do you keep what?
Right? And then eventually it is revealed to us that Sebastian's talking about Ciel's tail. And so Ciel explains that, oh, I keep it, you know, strapped to one of my legs with like 3 Velcro straps. And then I think it's really endearing and adorable that Sebastian was like, oh, you know, you don't have to hide it when you're in the house. Like, feel free to, you know, release it, and, you know.
That was very, like, simple and sweet, and just a very nice thing for him to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he could have been like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. Keep it in your pants. I don't care.
That's true. I mean, when he was a little bit jerky earlier about, like, the tuna, but, you know, he's having a change of heart, so that's always a good thing. And then to finish off this scene of the chapter, of course, Sebastian ends up revealing what secret ingredient he used. And so he tosses this container to Ciel, and Ciel looks at it, and this is what he reads. Prince of Bengal curry bun seasoning. Well, he questions it, but yeah.
That sounds delicious, though.
I know. I could totally go for some curry right now.
Same. I need curry and, like, a ton of rice.
Oh, yes. Okay.
I want a legitimate curry bun, though. I want
Me
one
too.
so bad.
Me too. I think that'd be awesome.
We need to go to Japan and get a curry bun.
Yes.
I think they sell them in Japan.
Let's do it. Let's go. Right now.
Yes.
All right, so moving on to the next scene, we have, of course, Sebastian going to work with Ciel, because it was agreed upon that Sebastian is pretty much Ciel's bodyguard. He has to follow him around. They didn't want to make it awkward at Ciel's workplace, though, so they're kind of introducing Sebastian with a new name, of course, as a new employee who's following around Ciel. Like, basically, Ciel's kind of training him, I guess, in a sense.
And just a side note, Ciel works at Funtum Pharmaceutical.
Yes, his father's company.
Yes.
And, I mean, Anime Cujo is just amazing with how she inputs little things from Kuro into the story. I mean, obviously it's Kuro, but what I mean to say is that Sebastian's fake name is Jeremy Rathbone. And if any of you guys have read the manga, or...
Which I hope you have.
Right? Or have seen the OVA it's a recent OVA, of the Clue-esque arc.
It's the Phantom Hive murder arc or something, I think.
That's okay. I like to call it Clue-esque because it's like Clue.
It is like Clue. I love it.
Or Whodunit for the Brits.
Yes.
Whodunit was a great show, by the way.
I agree.
And anyway, Sebastian, long story short, fakes his death, and then he comes back as some random priest, like he's all disguised and everything. And the priest's name is Jeremy Rathbone. And hey, priest, I am a priest. I have to say it. I'm sorry. Had to throw it in there.
See, me losing the other 2 reviews was helpful because now we got I am a priest up in here. So.
Oh yeah, up in here, up in here.
Yes, okay.
I just thought about that song. Okay. Moving along now.
We're back in the 90s.
Yes. All right. So, Finney is a coworker of Ciel's. I mean, it's to be expected because in the anime, of course, you know, he's a servant to Ciel, and here they're, you know, kind of coworkers, or I don't know.
I love how instantly trusting Finney is.
He's so adorable.
Like, you can tell him anything, and he's like, okay.
Right.
So cute.
I know. And then Mey-Rin is there, of course, which makes me think that Bard's going to be around too, but we haven't been introduced to him yet. But anyway.
Yeah, that's weird. Oh, I hope he's not part of the Neko hunters.
Oh, God. That'd be awful. We can convert him.
Yes.
But back to Mey-Rin here. So I just have to point out, like, I love the interaction between Mey-Rin and Sebastian in this chapter, and probably in more chapters to come. I don't know. Because Mey-Rin walks in, and I guess one of her shoelaces was undone. She trips, and she's carrying this tray of, like, blood samples, I believe it was. And so Sebastian notices this, and he hurriedly goes, and he catches her, and, you know, she's just all, like, blushing and, like, mouth agape as she stares at Sebastian because he's just, like, this hot man, like, that she's never seen before, and she's just speechless. And, I mean, if you think about, like, you know, Revelations or ASASS, like, you don't see that interaction between Mey-Rin and Sebastian. Like, yeah, they're acquainted to each other, I guess. I don't know. Just depends on the story, but you don't see her fangirling, which I really liked about this.
I did too. It's nice to have that extra interaction. I love when Mey-Rin's all swoony and just, like, can't focus on anything. It's just adorable.
Yes.
I wish I could do a good Mey-Rin voice.
I don't think I could do it, so.
It's hard. It's hard to do Cockney that long.
Yeah. I also have to point out that I love Ciel's, like, little jealousy going up in here, because I could tell he was jealous.
It's so cute. Ciel's just like, don't touch my man.
I love that. Ghetto Ciel.
Girl, I will touch you. Don't touch my man. I'll take those blood samples and stick them in your face.
Oh my god.
Oh my, I don't know what came over me just now.
That's so funny, though. And then I definitely look forward to, and I know you're on the same page with me on this one, interactions between Sebastian and Grell.
I do agree. That is going to be hysterical. And I really hope... we mentioned this in one of the Lost reviews, but we wanted Grell to, like, put on, like, cat ears to try to, like, get Sebastian to love him.
Oh, yeah.
Sebastian loves Ciel, who's a Neko, and we're just like, that would be so cute if Grell dressed up like a Neko to try to get Sebastian to like him.
Exactly. You need to make this happen, Anime Kujo.
It would be just so cute. Oh my god.
Or you and I could write a one-shot, you know?
True. Or Anime Kujo could put another one-shot down on her list of 100 one-shots.
Poor Anime Kujo. We make her work too hard. Alright. So I guess that pretty much wraps up that scene of the chapter. So we'll move on to the last one, which starts off with Ciel and Alois. And so this was by far my favorite quote exchange between Ciel and Alois. So here it goes. Where are you off to? You're looking for some D&D? So that was Ciel. And then Alois' response is, drinks and dick? Yup. And it just cracked me up because a lot of people associate D&D with Dungeons and Dragons, of course. And when I read the next line, I was just all like, oh, well, that's another way to, you know, abbreviate drinks and dick, you know? Because I was like, what does Dungeons and Dragons have to do with anything in the story right now? I was so confused.
That would be adorable, though. Like, picturing Alois dressed up like a Dungeons and Dragons cosplayer or something, and just sitting adorable in a basement playing Dungeons and Dragons with people.
That'd be so cute. Not gonna lie. Alright. And then we get to the very good part here, because Ciel starts to think about Sebastian. And I mean, the reason why he starts to think about Sebastian is because Alois was constantly like, 'cause Alois and him were on the phone, and Alois was just like, "Oh, is he hot? Is he hot? Is he hot?" And then Ciel's like, "No, like, well, no, he didn't say no. He didn't really answer, I guess." But he was just all like, "Oh, that doesn't matter. Like, he has a job to do, and he's doing his job, and that's that. Like, I have no interest, and blah blah blah." But of course, Ciel is lying because as he's thinking about Sebastian, like, he's getting hard. So he has this medication, I guess, that he injects to kind of help him with that. And it wasn't working, so he kind of had to finish himself off. And even when he did, like, he just got hard again. And I have to cheer and woohoo over here because...
Yes, props to you.
Yeah, I called this because I was like, dude, Ciel's gonna have those cat and heat moments, obviously, and that's what's happening. So I'm kind of happy about that. Like, I just think it's awesome. And then the last quote to conclude the chapter and the scene is, "It was going to be a long night, and the evening had only just begun." So it's like, how many more times is poor Ciel gonna have to undergo this? Like, like, that must be annoying. I don't know.
His arm is gonna get so sore.
Oh, poor Ciel. And then I started coming up with other scenarios as well, or like ways that chapter 4 could start off. Because, maybe it's still evening and Sebastian is, I don't know, gonna say goodnight to Ciel or something. I have no idea. And so he's knocking at the door, and then, Ciel, has a tent in his pants, so it's like, what can he do? Like, he can't just be like, "Come in," like, that'd be kind of awkward. Or, chapter 4 could start off in the morning, where it's evident that he hasn't really slept at all during the evening, just because of that. Or, I know you mentioned, another murder could happen, and that's like the opening scene for chapter 4, because
yes,
it's hard to really predict anything when it comes to Anime Cujo, because she's just so good at, trolling us, as I like to say.
It's true. You think you have her pegged, and then you don't know shit, and she just, like, whips something out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, that does make sense. Didn't think about that.
Exactly. So I guess to conclude the review, Alex came up with a brilliant idea of hosting this art contest. It came about because Alex was like, "Oh, I'm excited to see, what artwork is going to come out of the Ninth Life," because Revelations had a bit of artwork going on by fans, and the same will probably happen with Ninth Life. And so I guess you can talk more about it, Alex, since it was your idea.
So it's our idea technically, but we had an idea for fans like you to draw us a little picture of Neko, Ciel, and Sebastian, and you can post the links to sites like DeviantArt or wherever you post your artwork. Leave it down in the comments. And Anime Cujo, if you could, we love you. If when you hear this, if you could post the little thing on your wall for your fans to see, because I know some of your fans don't know about our reviews.
Oh, yeah,
but they do follow you on Facebook. So if you leave a link for your artwork, we will go through, Jocelyn and I will go through, and we will pick our top 3 favorites.
Yes.
Bronze, silver, and gold medal, I suppose, if you will.
There you go.
And the number 1 artwork will become our background for the Ninth Life reviews, and you will get a shout out. The top 3 will get a shout out. Whenever we cut this off, we're not quite sure what the deadline will be, but when we record for chapter 4, we'll come back to you with more information.
Yes. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Neko Notes, and I look forward to chapter 4, as I assume all of you do as well.
I would hope so.
Right. So until then, have a great rest of your day, rest of your evening, depending on your time zone, and we'll catch you.
And go read some smut.
Yes.
It's necessary.
It is, absolutely. And we'll go ahead and catch you in chapter 4. Bye.
Bye.